Good afternoon. I'm Ed Pozzuoli from Tripp Scott. Today we're joined by Mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Jack Seiler. Prior to Jack becoming mayor in 2009, he served in the Florida House of Representatives for 8 years. Jack lives in Fort Lauderdale with his wife, Susan, and their 4 children. Jack, welcome.
Ed, great to be here.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the 100-year celebration of Fort Lauderdale. Tell us about that.
Well, right now, Fort Lauderdale is celebrating its centennial. March 27th, 1911, the city was founded, and just actually a few blocks from here at Tripp Scott, and founded right over on the river. And the city has certainly grown over the years and come of age, and we thought it was appropriate to celebrate that centennial. I appointed former Congressman Clay Shaw as the chair of that centennial committee. Couldn't imagine a better appointment for that. He's a former mayor, former congressman, and just really a great public servant in the city. So it's done 2 things. It's helped us, one, focus on the past and look at where we've been and what we've done. But more importantly, it's taught us to look towards the future. Where are we going? What kind of city do we want to be? And so we combined the centennial celebration with a reflection on the past with a visioning project for the future, and I think it was the perfect way to do it.
That sounds great. What events particularly are coming up in the next month or two?
Next month or two, we've got the Sistrunk Festival coming up at the end of this month over on Sistrunk. That'll celebrate Black History Month as well as the Black Pioneers in the city of Fort Lauderdale. And then we have in March the St. Patrick's Day Festival and Parade down Los Olas Boulevard.
That's always fun.
That's a great event, which we brought back, this new commission brought back. Following that, on March 27th at the river, we're actually going to have a massive Centennial River Fest. That'll be an old-fashioned Fort Lauderdale street dance, those things that you and I remember from the 80s. And that should be a really fun event. We're inviting back all the former elected officials at all levels. So we'll have those that have represented us here locally, at the county, at the state, at the national level. One of the neatest events, we have a number of events coming up, but one I do want to mention in particular is our Wade-In celebration on July 4th. July 4th, 1961, the city of Fort Lauderdale desegregated its beach. A couple of pioneers from the northwest area went down to the beach, waded into the water, and when the police asked them to leave, they said, "We're not leaving." As a result, that kind of started a movement that most people, and today people look back at this and can't believe it ever was the case.
Right.
But it started a movement that resulted in the desegregation of Fort Lauderdale Beach, allowing it to be open to everyone, available to everyone, and accessible to everyone, and that was kind of something we're going to celebrate on July 4th.
That's a nice way to celebrate.
Absolutely.
That's a nice way. You talked about the visioning, this process of celebrating the 100 years, looking back and looking forward in the vision, the future vision of the city. Talk about that a little bit. Where do you see the city going?
Well, you know what, I see the city continuing to have a dynamic downtown. I mean, for a while, the downtown was kind of starting to boom, and then obviously with the downturn, things slowed down. I see that downtown revival continuing. I think you will see a very dynamic area downtown on both sides of the river, South Andrews, North Andrews, in and around the courthouse, the federal courthouse, the state courthouse. So I think you'll see a lot of good development and redevelopment there. I think you'll see the river become more of a prominent feature to the city. You know, we got the greatest natural treasure in the world over there. It's a natural resource running right through the heart of the city, and we haven't done enough to activate both sides of that river. So I think you'll see the River Walk get a lot more attention. You'll see we're doing a public realm plan to try to activate both sides of the river. We want better lighting, better maintenance, better patrol, more activities, and we think we can create something really special like San Antonio has with their River Walk right here in Fort Lauderdale.
Well, that's certainly a vision. And how long do you figure that might take?
Well, the visioning committee is starting down this path. We've already kind of started. We just passed a plan for South Andrews just a couple weeks ago. We kind of got out in front of the visioning on some of these land use issues, on some of these planning and zoning issues. We're also getting out in front on behalf of Andrews, up and down, not just south, but north.
South Andrews, we're talking by the hospital?
From the hospital up to the river. Basically everything on Andrews Avenue south of 17, the river.
Okay.
Right, and so that, we just passed a master plan for that just a couple weeks ago, and it's exciting. We revised parking requirements, we revised building requirements, and what we're really trying to do is find a way to create more of a urban downtown with the necessary density to support mass transit, to support that FEC railway moving east, as you and I have talked about before, and try to create more of an inner city that doesn't require everybody to be in their cars all the time with all the traffic. People living down here, working down here, having fun down here.
Right.
That's what it's about.
And enjoying the river, enjoying the beach, enjoying Las Olas, enjoying downtown.
Absolutely.
Okay. You mentioned that the city commission passed the budget for the city. How difficult a task was that? I know local governments are struggling with some of that.
Very tough, but I'll tell you something. We took a very conservative approach. As you're aware, we have cut about 200 positions from the city of Fort Lauderdale over the last 3 years. So we've eliminated 200 positions, which obviously saves the city a lot of money. We also have done a number of things to create more and greater efficiencies. And so we've eliminated $12 million from the operating budget. At the same time we did that, we have been able to kind of realize some savings in different areas. So when we rolled out our budget this year, we did not raise the tax rate. Our millage rate is at its lowest rate in 25 years. The bodies that oversee, or the governing bodies that overlap with us for the city of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County School Board, and the hospital district all increased their millage rate. We did not. So
right.
In essence, the average taxpayer in the city of Fort Lauderdale is paying less now than they paid the year before. So we're very proud of that fact that we were able to make ends meet, tighten our belts, but not increase the burden on the taxpayer. And that's right now we are the second lowest tax rate of the 20 largest cities in the state of Florida, and we're the 7th lowest tax rate of all cities in Broward County, of all 31 cities. So we're pretty pleased with the way we have handled the budget. We've remained fiscally conservative, and at the end of the day, though, we protected the vital services. We preserved the vital services, I should say. None of our cuts came from police or fire. So we were able to do it in the areas other than public safety,
right, and
create a safety net here in the community.
Right. And so, just to wrap up, Jack, what do you see the future for Fort Lauderdale, in terms of real estate and in terms of business activity? What's your hope for the future?
Well, I don't think it's my hope. I actually now see the corner's been turned. I mean, I think we've gone through probably the worst economic period in the last 2 generations. And now I see the corner's been turned and we're starting on that recovery and that expansion. And it's very exciting. I'll tell you, it's the people that are coming to City Hall talking about projects, coming to City Hall talking about activities and events. I mean, we're really starting to get going again. And I'm excited. My goal, when I got elected, I said this has got to be the best place to live, work, play, visit, and raise a family. I mean, that's got to be the goal we set, that whether from a tourism standpoint or a local standpoint, it's got to be the best place. And, I feel like we're back on that road to getting there, and I'm extremely excited about the future of Fort Lauderdale.
Well, I'll tell you, we think it is a great place to raise a family and work and have fun. So, but Jack Seiler, thank you very much for your leadership and as mayor of Fort Lauderdale and your general community involvement and leadership there. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Ed. And I just want a special thanks to Tripp Scott, because I think that having a firm of this caliber and of this nature in the city of Fort Lauderdale, it makes the city a better place. Thank you.
I appreciate that.